Good evening. It's Saturday, the 18th of October. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. Our top story this evening, President Park Geun-hye is back in Korea following a 4-day trip to Italy. Prior to her departure, the Korean leader buzzed around Rome, meeting Italy's top political leaders, sealing well over a dozen agreements. Korea and Italy will start working more closely together in the fields of culture, fashion, design and IT. It was a hectic day, but the Korean leader also dropped by the Vatican to see Pope Francis. Shin Se-min reports.
Wrapping up her stay in Italy, President Park Geun-hye and Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi vowed to strengthen their two countries' economic ties. During their talks on Friday local time, President Park and Renzi signed a total of 17 agreements covering a wide range of areas, including economy, culture, fashion, and IT. The leaders want to synergize Korea's strong IT industry with Italy's global fashion brands so they can target the international market together. Korea's presidential office of Cheongwade says a high-level cooperation committee will be set up to ensure the commitments are met. Emphasizing the importance of the Korea-EU Free Trade Agreement, Park and Renzi said the elevation of relations is timely, considering Italy will soon assume a key role in the EU's rotating presidency. They also stressed the need to expand trade and investment, as Italy is only Korea's 29th largest trading partner. Two-way trade totaled just $8.5 billion in 2013. Park and Renzi also saw eye to eye on the need for North Korea to abandon its nuclear ambitions in order to ensure peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. President Park also held talks with Pope Francis at the Vatican, a meeting that comes just 2 months after the Pope made a historic visit to South Korea. Saying that she'd like for him to one day visit a unified Korea, the president asked for the Pope's prayers for achieving unification and for peace on the Korean peninsula. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
North Korea has blasted President Park after she called on the regime to give up its nuclear weapons and improve its shocking human rights record. A spokesman for North Korea's agency in charge of inter-Korean relations said President Park's comments were reckless and showed a two-faced attitude as she openly talks about wanting to re-engage in dialogue while heavily criticizing the North to others. The South Korean leader made the remarks earlier this week at a summit of Asian and European leaders in Milan. There's growing concerns, plans, high-level political talks between the two Koreas could collapse under the weight of these renewed tensions. Earlier this week, South Korea proposed holding the meeting on October 30th, but the North has yet to issue an official response. A top US official is urging American nationals to refrain from traveling to North Korea. Speaking at a Korea Economic Institute forum in Washington, Robert King, the special US envoy for North Korean human rights issues, said Americans should stop going there, as it's a tough place where US citizens can easily find themselves in hot water. The US official's comments are likely in reference to 3 American citizens who've been locked up in North Korea for as long as 2 years in one case. King also said Pyongyang is steadily coming out of its shell to fight back against increasing international criticism of its dire human rights record. He added that the North has faced horrendous publicity since the UN Commission announced early this year that the country had committed crimes against humanity. Police are investigating the organisers of an outdoor K-pop concert following an accident in which 16 people died and 11 others were injured when the ventilation grate they were standing on collapsed under their weight. The accident happened on Friday evening at the Pangyo Techno Valley southeast of Seoul as hundreds of people watched an outdoor performance by girl group 4 Minute. Officers say they are figuring out whether the host and the sponsors of the event followed necessary safety measures. They added that if violations are found, those responsible will be punished. Now, on a related note, a man involved in planning this concert has been found dead in an apparent suicide. No suicide note has been found, but the man, who jumped from a 10-story building, reportedly left a short message on his social network account apologizing to the victims. Now, in economic news, the government is taking a new approach in its push to boost Korea's employment rate to 70% by the year 2017. It plans to encourage companies to set up daycare centres within their premises to make it much more easier for mothers to continue working after they give birth. Our Son Jung-in reports.
This is Korea's first public workplace nursery established in the city of Daejeon in 1995. Around 40 research institutes and agencies joined forces to build it to help skilled and educated female employees keep their jobs after childbirth. The center provides educational programs for the kids, but most importantly, it is within the premises of the mother's workplace. The government has now come up with a new set of measures to increase women's participation in the labor force. It plans to enable local governments to supply public land and buildings for free to companies so they can establish daycare centers while easing regulations on construction. The facilities will be accessible to local residents as well.
Childcare facilities inside public office buildings should also accept other locals who want to sign up at the facility if there's a vacancy.
When a private company builds a center on its own and donates it to the public, the government will give that company's workers a priority in enrollment.
Private companies should donate daycare centers as part of its social contribution to foster talented people. There is a growing need to develop a new operational system.
The government hopes this will increase the number of public nurseries in the country to help working mothers strike a better balance between work and family by alleviating some of the burden of childcare. Son Jung-in, Arirang News.
The United States has reiterated that Japan should work with its neighbours to resolve concerns over history in an amicable way through dialogue. The comments by State Department spokesperson Marie Harf came after Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe sent a ritual offering on Friday to a very controversial war shrine in Tokyo that honours Japan's war dead and more than 12 Class A war criminals. Korea and China expressed their disappointment with Abe's action, but analysts say it should mean the Japanese leader won't physically visit the Yasukuni shrine this year. Abe appears eager to try and rebuild ties with Seoul and Beijing as he wants to hold face-to-face meetings with President Park Geun-hye and Chinese leader Xi Jinping on the sidelines of next month's APEC summit in Beijing. Sierra Leone, Guinea and Liberia have notified Korea that they will not be sending any delegates to the upcoming International Telecommunications Union conference in Busan. Korea's ministry in charge of technology issues says the three West African countries chose to stay away out of concerns about the spread of the deadly Ebola virus. The ministry said that while it was regrettable, the government respects their decision. Korea had already been suggesting those countries minimize their participation in this huge event. The death toll from the outbreak stands at more than 4,500 now, with double that figure infected. Now, concerns about Ebola have been dogging this meeting, the ITU conference that begins on Monday in Korea's southern port city of Busan, sets global technological standards and works to improve the quality of communication services. The 2014 Asian Para Games is launching this evening with a spectacular light and dance show in Korea's western port city of Incheon. The opening ceremony that's taking place right now includes disabled professional performers among its hundreds of volunteers. Our Kim Yeon-bin reports.
The opening ceremony for the 11th Para Games is taking place in Korea's second largest port city of Incheon under the theme Impossible Drives Us. Around 1,500 performers, including some with physical impairments, are taking part in the celebration of sport and hard work. Over 6,000 athletes and officials from 42 countries are in town for the Games, which makes it the biggest Para-Asian Games in history. Even North Korea has sent a 30-member delegation, including 9 athletes, to the Games for the first time. 23 sporting events will take place over the course of the next week, 19 of which are also official events at the Paralympics. The 4 others, badminton, bowling, lawn bowling, and wheelchair dance, are unique to Asian Para Games. Athletes will compete for the 440 gold medals up for grabs. South Korea will field 335 athletes and is scheduled to compete in all 23 disciplines. Their aim is to win 50 gold medals and finish second in the medal standings. South Korea placed third at the 2010 Para-Asian Games in Gwangju with 27 gold, 43 silver, and 33 bronze medals. Aside from the opening and closing ceremony, tickets for all the events will be free of charge. The 2014 Para-Asian Games run through Friday, October 24th. Kim Hyun-bin, Arirang News.
And finally, leaving you with the weather for the rest of the weekend here in Korea. It's going to be a chilly night, with the overnight low dipping to 9 degrees Celsius here in Seoul. Sunday will be similar to what we enjoyed today, namely a beautiful late autumn day with mostly sunny skies and highs around the nation in the low 20s. Let's take a look at the weather conditions in your part of the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday, wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back again for our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Until then, goodbye.